Annyeonghaseyo, my army friends. So I've checked out some BTS songs with the whole group together. I've checked out some vocal line songs specifically and some rap lines specifically. But now it's time to head down another path, the solo path. I kind of want to see what these guys are all made of, doing their own thing without the rest of the people surrounding them. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking because I want to get through 3 videos in this. First I'm going to do the BTS Love Yourself Terror Singularity comeback trailer. Then I'm going to watch the lyric video. So like my other rap line videos, I'm actually going to watch the video first. I'm going to focus mostly on the visuals, the aesthetics, and the sounds. And then the second time around, I'm going to pay more attention to the lyrics. And then after this, I'm going to do the BTS Singularity full explained by K-Pop Junkie. I don't know if it's any good or not, but I tried to do some research, and there were so many theories out there that I didn't know which ones to believe, or, you know, so I just skimmed a bunch of them. And at the end of the day, I came up with the conclusion that it seems like V changing himself to become somebody else so that other people will like him more, or that a specific person will love him because of it. And perhaps realizing that that's not the way to go. It's actually, from what I understand, it's got kind of a similar vibe lyrically to Fake Love. I could be completely wrong, and feel free to tell me below. And if this full explained isn't accurate, if there's been more information that's come out since this was made, because it was made over a year ago, let me know in the comments. I'm intrigued. Real jazzy feel to start off. I like the strings. His voice, I know you guys have told me that he can hit like the highest note. I know you guys have told me that he can hit like the highest notes out there. But every time I've heard him, the thing that's impressed me the most is his ability to go deep. It's just so low. This is also a vibe I haven't heard from BTS as a group before, so I'm pretty into this. It's really different. Very R&B. Dude, just listen to the way that he plays with his voice there. He stays clear for a while, but then he'll just go into this real hard vibrato, and it just makes it sound a lot more impactful. Check this out. There. Oh, and then so low there. It's very breathy. Not really sure what's going on with the video, though. I like how it's being used, though. He's controlling everything. His voice is kind of mesmerizing. I like that line. Dude, this whole song could be an ASMR. Listen, everything ends with just a long breath. Can I just say real quick that there's some auto-tune on his voice right now, but his vocals are so good, and I know that it's a stylistic choice in a lot of pop music. I just don't think it needs to be there. I think that he's nailing this without anything helping him. So I understand from a production standpoint that it might just kind of smooth it out a little bit, but he's so good at singing, I don't think he needs any auto-tune at all. Oh, look at that earring. Loved. Oh, that's a cool scene. Throw myself away. I like how the dance is kind of... I know I keep pausing it, but I've learned how to do that. So now I don't want to talk over the music. I love how the dance is kind of... It's very fluid versus a lot of the BTS songs that I've listened to. They hit so hard, they snap so hard. It's one of the differences between male and females doing dance moves in K-pop that I've noticed a lot is the women seem to, they roll a lot more. There's a lot more fluidity to it. And the guys are like very just, the end of each dance note just hits so hard and they snap back into place so really fast. And he's kind of doing more of what I would say the girls generally do, which is kind of stay flowing and stay fluid. And I think it's really helping the aesthetics of this song because it just vibes with it. Oh, I love the way that he sings the end of each sentence. Oh, is that over? Okay. Oh, that's creepy and cool and probably means something that I just don't understand. His vocals came through hard on his own. Like, he could, you know, I'm sure all of them could go off and do their own solo things if they wanted to, but he's just so in control of everything that he says. I just love how he can go from one note into the next one with a completely different way of singing that note. Head voice into loud, clear, into vibrato, very breathy when he wants to be. It's just, he's got a lot of control over the impact of each note that he sings, and I think it's really impressive. So I was a big fan of that song. I kind of got engrossed into the vocals, so I wasn't really paying too much attention to the lyrics. So let's focus on them this time. Get out of here. Come on, guy. I love those chords. Or notes, I guess. Try to cover my ears, but I can't go to sleep. What he's singing about right now sounds like social anxiety. Sounds so good. Jesus. Self-insulated, buried my voice free. Oh, hang on one second. 3, play. Oh my god, there's so many metaphors in here. I'm just trying to string them all together. Recognizing phantom meaning is still the same. Or have I gained you? Okay, so from what I'm picking up, which is very little bits of pieces, you know, like when he's talking about burying his voice for her or him or whoever he's talking about. To me, that means that he's ignoring his temptations. He's ignoring the things that matter to him and changing his priorities for the person that he's talking about. This line right here kind of vindicated what I was thinking about before. Have I lost myself or have I gained you? At the end of the day, you shouldn't have to lose yourself to gain another person. You should be able to gain somebody that actually cares about you while still being true to yourself or else that person's not worth it. The way that he sings it though, man. And there's my face in it. So now it sounds like he's singing about how he's scared to say anything because he thinks it'll ruin, because it might be something true to himself and he thinks it might ruin everything. And is the ice a metaphor for like a filter over his personality? Yeah, and now he's getting it. Now he's understanding that that was not the right move. Is it worth changing yourself in order to initially attract that person that you want to be a part of your life? Even if it means that as time goes on, you whittle away that filter that you've put over your personality and it becomes more true to yourself, is it worth just changing in the beginning to become something that's more appealing to the person that you want? It's a good question. I'm sure it's a question that everybody asks, and I think it's something that happens very commonly in the beginning of relationships. But as you could see throughout the course of the song, he was realizing, oh, maybe I've gone too far into this. Maybe I haven't taken the right route. At least that's what I think is going on. And that's a question that I don't think anybody can answer, because sometimes you do feel like you need to adjust your personality just to sit well with others. And it's not even just in a romantic sense, even just with like a new friend group or a work situation. Sometimes you feel like you need to adjust your personality because if they see the true you, then they might not buy into you right in the beginning. So you slowly let your true personality come out over time. But in a relationship, it's really hard to get out of that situation once you've gone too deep. And at the end of the day, I don't think it can be a true relationship. I don't think there's a real connection unless you can be yourself the whole time. Okay, so let's see how absolutely wrong I was about everything that I just said. 1, 2, 3, play. K-pop junkie.
You're probably overwhelmed by
Credit
all
to
the
them,
theories
him.
and speculations going around about the Singularity comeback trailer.
Yes,
and
yes,
what it
I
means
was.
for their
This
next
is true.
comeback. And no matter what theory you subscribe to, I think we can all point it back to one
See, but this is a
constant
while
theme:
ago.
loving yourself.
So I'm assuming at this point there's a lot more information out, and he's probably talked about the truth behind it. But on the internet, when I was doing the research, it was still like, it's not like the most realistic option or the perfect answer was at the top. I clicked on like 10 different articles, and they all just said different things. So.
Or in this case, not loving yourself. The music video starts with V interacting with a mannequin or coat rack. But if you notice, the hand is V's own hand. So when we see him trying to avoid contact, we're seeing him trying to reject himself. These masks we see are the many faces he puts on in order to hide that true self, to avoid facing who he really is.
Okay.
The masks form a heart around him, as if these facades are the only way he can love himself. He offers this flower to each of the masks, but they refuse it. And because we know that these are his own disguises, we know it's him denying himself.
Okay, so it seems like this is more about him and him versus him and somebody else, which I was alluding to before. I actually, if this is the case, if this is accurate, I kind of like it a little bit more because it's a little bit more introspective, a little more psychological. And now that he's talking about it, I'm getting even more of a fake love vibe from it, just because that seemed to be what that song was about. And by the way, still, out of all the BTS songs I've heard, Fake Love has my favorite lyrics.
The colors of the backdrop represent his emotions, trying to deal with his own acceptance. Sadness, anger. We see and hear the mention of spring coming, melting the ice into a pool of reflection.
Yeah, I was
When
wondering
he
about
finally does reflect, that's when he realizes he's lost himself.
that. Mm-hmm.
At the same
Okay.
time, the background goes white, just like the color of his masks. The background is blank. The frame is upside down. He no longer knows who he is anymore. Fans are speculating that this trailer might have something to
It's
do
really
with
well
the death,
thought out.
but I think there's a reason we see him cover his face at the end, with his own hand, with a mask.
But he's
The
crying.
black tear
there
does
also.
symbolize a death, but not the death of someone else, and not a literal death, but the death
Metaphorical
of who
death
he
of his
really
own
is.
personality.
The tear and this trailer are signifying what's to come, the consequences of not loving yourself. The word singularity in this case alludes to loneliness, and it doesn't get any lonelier than when you've lost even yourself.
It's pretty similar to the ideas of what I was saying about, you know, changing yourself and then losing yourself due to it. I thought it came across really well. The video, I didn't pick up on, like, any of the things that he talked about, you know, the aesthetic metaphors. But now that I see them, it seems a lot more intense. I'm just noticing now, because I randomly skipped back to another spot in the video, and his earring says loved, and they actually made a comment on here that says loved in the past tense, which seems to be alluding to the fact that he used to think of himself as somebody that was worth loving, and now he's gone so far off of the path that he was supposed to be on that he's not sure he's even capable of being loved anymore. It's really sad, man. It's so sad. But it's a good message to get out there, and I think that he did a really good job of it. So, yeah, that's part 1 of this new step of solos. You know what? Also, I just wanted to mention, this kind of reminded me of Cypher Part 3, I think it was. Part 3 or Part 4, the one that I love myself. It's almost like the opposite of that. It's like, if this was the first video, then that would be the second video when you're coming out of this state of loneliness and then becoming who you were truly meant to be. Good stuff. Alright, guys. Well, like, comment, and subscribe. Por favor. Annyeong.